Your birthday is coming. Or maybe it already passed, and you did what you always do, told people not to make a big deal, brushed off the messages with something short, maybe even forgot to mention it to people who would have wanted to know. And when someone asked, "What are you doing for your birthday?" you said something like, "Nothing, it's just a day." And you meant it. Or you told yourself you meant it. But somewhere underneath that, in a place you don't examine too often, there was something else, something quiet, a feeling you wouldn't call disappointment, because that would require admitting you expected something, and you stopped expecting things a long time ago. You've been treating your birthday like a normal day for years now, and everyone around you accepted the explanation. But the explanation was never the whole story. Tonight, we're going to look at what is. Most people assume that someone who downplays their birthday simply isn't sentimental, doesn't care about celebrations, is too mature or too practical to attach meaning to a date. That explanation is clean and almost never accurate. Because the people who treat their birthday like a normal day are rarely people who feel nothing. They are almost always people who learned at some specific point that feeling something about their birthday wasn't safe, that wanting something led to not getting it, that expecting to be seen led to being overlooked, that the gap between what the day felt like it should be and what it actually was painful enough that it became easier to stop wanting anything at all. The indifference is not real. It is a decision that got made so long ago. It started feeling real. There was a birthday that didn't go the way it should have, maybe more than one. It wasn't always dramatic. Sometimes it was quiet. The day passed without the feeling you were expecting. The people who should have made it something didn't, not out of cruelty. Sometimes just out of not noticing, out of forgetting, out of being too occupied with things that mattered more to them than this mattered to you. And you felt it. That specific private disappointment of a day that was supposed to be yours, that didn't feel like yours at all. But here is what happened next. The mind, which is extraordinarily efficient at protecting you from repeatable pain, made a quiet adjustment. If wanting something on this day leads to not getting it, then the solution is to stop wanting, not consciously. The decision doesn't come with a thought. It comes with a gradual cool, a slow withdrawal of expectation, until the expectation is gone, and you can say honestly, I don't really care about my birthday, and believe it, because the part of you that cared learned that caring was the problem. The indifference wasn't natural, it was constructed. Built carefully, from the material of birthdays that left you quietly, alone with what you'd hoped for. At some point, you started preempting it. Before anyone could forget, you told them not to bother. Before anyone could underdeliver, you made sure there was nothing to deliver. Before the day could disappoint you, you made the day small enough that disappointment had no room to live in it. This is not pessimism. This is one of the most intelligent emotional strategies the mind ever develops. Control the expectation, and you control the outcome. Make yourself small enough, and there is nothing to miss. Ask for nothing, and you can never be failed. The problem is that it works. It genuinely works as a pain prevention strategy, and things that work become habits, and habits become identity. I'm just not a birthday person. I don't need the attention. It's not a big deal to me. These stop being things you say and start being things you are. And slowly, the habit of making yourself small on this day bleeds into other days, other moments, other situations where wanting something, where expecting to be seen, starts to feel like a risk. You've been trained not to take. Here's the part that contradicts everything you tell yourself. You notice who remembers without being reminded. Who sends something before the day is almost over? Who says nothing at all? You don't make a list. You don't track it deliberately. But somewhere in the part of you that said it doesn't matter, it registers. The person who remembered last year and forgot this year. The friend who posted something public but didn't send anything private. The one who said happy birthday in a way that made it clear they were saying it because they saw it on a screen, not because they were thinking of you. You noticed all of it, and then you told yourself it doesn't matter. But noticing and not mattering are not the same thing. Noticing means it matters. The noticing is the evidence. The person who genuinely doesn't care doesn't track who remembered, doesn't feel the specific warmth of the one unexpected message that arrived from someone who didn't need a notification to remember. You felt that warmth, which means the indifference was never indifference. It was protection, wearing the costume of indifference so convincingly that even you started to believe the costume was the person underneath. It was never about the celebration, not the balloons, not the cake, not the public acknowledgement, or the dinner reservation, or any of the surface things that birthdays are assumed to be about. What you wanted, what you have always wanted, on this particular day is something much simpler. To feel for one day that your presence in the world mattered to someone who didn't need a reminder. That's it. Not a party, not a grand gesture. Just the specific feeling of being known and being thought of without prompting by someone for whom you were already on their mind. That feeling is not too much to want. It has never been too much to want, but it is specific enough that most celebrations don't actually deliver it. And when the celebrations that were supposed to deliver it didn't, you decided the wanting was the problem. The wanting was never the problem. The wanting was the most human thing about the whole situation. Your birthday is just a day, that part is true, but you are not just a person who needs nothing from the people who love you on the one day a year that was supposed to be yours. The indifference was a solution to a problem that should never have existed. The problem of not being seen by the people who were supposed to be looking. You stopped wanting because wanting hurt. You made it small because small things can't disappoint you. You called it a normal day because calling it something more required believing you were worth something more. And somewhere underneath all the years of it's just a day, there is still a person who would just wants to feel it, not the party. The feeling. The one that says, without words, without prompting, without a notification reminding anyone to care, you exist, and I'm glad that you do.